Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is another one of those videos that I'm very hesitant about doing because there are no hard facts. There are no numbers that I can give you that say after you go beyond this point you're going to have issues, that sort of thing. There are no specific plants that are going to give you any more troubles than any others. It's just one of those things that I've noticed because I've been doing this for a very long time and it does come up. Plants, first off, are very beneficial to your aquariums. I keep them in all my tanks wherever possible, and the points where they're not possible are the ones where they get eaten. Obviously, goldfish are a prime example, but then again, African cichlids, and there's a myriad of others that like to mow down plants, and I don't tend to keep too many in there, unless, of course, I'm just adding them as a snack. So that said, there gets to be a point where if you have too many plants, so obviously the tank on the right is just an extreme example. I wanted to see if the red Luigi was going to continue to grow out of the tank forever. It did really, really well. I mean, it got, this one tank had plants spreading well over 4 feet in all directions. I've since started pruning it back. That tank there is going to get completely stripped out and redone. It's just, too much. Now, why is it too much? Well, if you get too many plants, like I said, this is just a silly example, but what happens is they will restrict water flow because in the cases they just prevent by their body mass water being able to get everywhere it needs to do in the tank, so filtration is not complete. You do end up obviously with dead points where there's again not enough flow, and you could end up with some anoxic conditions. Without that, you also get a very restricted amount of space for the fish to swim. They do need space. They do need to run around. It stimulates their growth, and it is important. But besides those obvious things, there is one other thing I'd like to cover, and that is something I did in a video quite some time ago now. It is competition between plants. It's called allelopathy, and what happens is each of these plant species, they're chemical factories. They can't go and beat up their neighbor and kick them out and say go away because they can't move. What they do is they excrete chemicals and try to bioengineer their environment so it's better for them and worse for their neighbors, and that is how they compete. And that, if you get too many plants in an aquarium, can lead to the fish not doing as well. It's not specific for them, of course, but it does change their environment. You can, of course, mitigate that by doing water changes and those sorts of things. If you have a lot of fish, not fish, but a lot of fish tanks in your fish room, like I do, there are times when a tank will get away from you. And I have once in a while noticed, well, wait a minute, that tank used to be full of fish. And then I noticed that there's a lot fewer of them in there now. And that is what I'm talking about. They will get to a point where you will end up losing some fish. I mean, this, again, is an experiment that I let run. And it was, it was deliberate. But yes, the fish are not doing as well in there. They don't swim as well. They're not as active. But it does take, like I said, a lot of buildup. I mean, there are a lot of people who will say that zero water changes and you can get nice balanced systems and all that sort of stuff with a lot of plants and a few fish. And it's quite true. I'm just telling you that if you let it go too far, you're going to end up with some plants that are doing really, really well and some fish that are not. It depends on really what you want to have. If you want, like I said, well-balanced aquarium with a good amount of fish, good amount of plants, don't let your plants get to the point where they're taking over. Again, this is an extreme example of these two tanks, but it does make quite a bit of difference. So I think I wandered around this topic quite a bit and rambled on quite a bit. It was for the various pros and cons. It is one of those things that just happens once in a while. You can get too many plants, and it does cause issues, but don't ever think that I don't like plants, because I really love my high humidity planters. They do really well, and just try and keep a balance where you have room for the fish to grow and thrive, and of course room for the plants to do as well. there you go. That's pretty much all I need to say in this. I wanted to keep this video relatively short, and I think, like I said, I've already gone on long enough about this. Definitely leave comments. Let me know about your experiences with fish and plants that you've had. I mean, this is not meant as a rule for anything. It's just experience that I've come across. I'd like to share them with people. And I'd like you to do the same thing. So let me know what's going on in your world and with your fish and stuff. And thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. And bye for now.